Hey guys, I'm back. Me and my new friend Colton ride down to Tampa Hard Rock. We each did well, so we decided to go to Florida Coconut Creek and Hollywood Hard Rock. So at Hard Rock in Tampa, I dump a $300 buy-in at the 1-2 and go straight to the 2-5 when I pick up pocket sixes on my big blind with a button straddle. Comes around to me, I make it 90. One person calls, the button goes all in. I call, the other guy calls. We go three ways to a flop of King 10-6, turns a blank, rivers an ace. I show a 6, they both said a 6 is good by itself. I said, well, my other 6 is really good in that case. Take it down. As I take that down, I cash it out, go get my friend, tell him to cash out. We drive down to Coconut Creek Casino. I lose $600 very fast on the 1-2 in Coconut Creek Casino. I go to the 2-5 when I wake up with jacks under the gun on a very action-y table. I limp. 4 people limp. Big blind makes it 50. I call, next to act calls. We go three ways to a flop of Queen Deuce Deuce with 2 diamonds, 1 heart. First to act bet 60. I call. The other guy calls. I'm like, okay. There's 1 over. Let me see what he does on the next street. Turn is a 4 of hearts. First to act bets 150. Well, if he had a queen, he should shove all in. He's not protecting his hand. So I'm like, what do you have? Like, aces? Like, what the hell? Whatever. So I'm all in for 160. I can't fold jacks. I got second best pair. If I hit a jack, I'm good. They both call. The guy on my left calls 160. The other guy calls $10 more. River is a jack of hearts. Guy bets 200 on an empty side pot. The one who's been betting 150. That's a horrible card to bet. The guy didn't raise you on the flop on my left, so he doesn't have a flush draw on the flop. And if he calls a turn, he probably hit a backdoor flush draw. Well, he raises to 620, so obviously he hit a backdoor flush. The guy tanks for 5 seconds, shaking his head, and ships it for $5 more. So not only he called 620, he just put in his last 5 just in case he's good. Kind of dumb, like, considering the fact that he didn't flop quads. So the guy on my left shows runner, ace high flush. I said, I thought you flopped quads over top boat. Like, what are you guys even doing? Not protecting the queen, obviously. So I show my jacks and win the main pot. Cash out. Take my friend, go to a hotel. So next day at Coconut Creek again, I'm in for $1,000 at the 1-2 table, $200 at a time, down to my last $57. Then after 3 hours, I cash out for $1,005 for a $5 profit. My best come up was just 4 weeks ago when I was at best bet down in for $900, down to $31, up to $2,191. So we go to Hard Rock Hollywood the next day, where I get into the 1-2 for $600. I lost the first $300 to a lady who called my $60 open with ace-8 offsuit in the small blind when I had pocket jacks. She shoves blind out of turn for $245. The flop comes queen-8 deuce. I have second pair, so I call with my jacks. Turn is a 5. In the river is a beautiful 8, giving her trips, because she knew what was going to happen. Alright, so I reload for $300, totaling $600 for the table that I'm in. Dude sitting in the cutoff on this next hand called a bet and a check raise all in on a turn with bottom pair against my friend that I brought to South Florida with me, and ended up rivering bottom 2 pair against my friend when my friend had top pair, top kicker. So I had to get him good this hand. Cutoff guy looked like he wanted to raise pre-flop and limps for 2. I'm like, yeah, you're going to put more money in there. I make it $30 in the big blind with ace-5 offsuit. He calls. Flop is ace-5-3 gin. I bet $5 to deceive what he thinks I have. I'm going to play like I have nothing. He calls. So I blind bet 20 since he called 5. But that's probably most value. If I look at the next card and bet, he's probably going to fold. So I might as well blind bet the next card. And I set up this trap. He calls on the 10. The turn was a 10. River's a 6. I'm going to check it regardless, but I tank just to act as if I have nothing for real so he can really bet. I tank. I check. He bets 55. I snap shove for 245. He one chip calls. I snap show. He snap mucks. So give me that. Next orbit. I get ace king off under the gun +1. I raise to $15. Next to act calls. Another player calls. A young tight player makes it $57 from my 15. I call. The second guy after me calls. Flop is 3-3-5 with 2 diamonds. I have the king of diamonds with my ace king. I check. The pre-flop aggressor bets 50, so he's obviously milking a pocket pair. Probably a higher pocket pair. I call. We go heads up to a turn. Turn is a king. He has about 300 left. I want to make it a sizing that looks like I'm trying to push him off his hand, but also get all the money in. So I decide to bet $200. He thinks twice and shoves the last 100 on top. I'm like, yes. I call. Show him the ace king. And he doesn't show. The river comes another king, so I have kings full of 3s, second nuts. So he mucks. And the guy who was after me, who called the first 15 I raised pre-flop, he said he would have flopped quad 3s if he stayed in. I'm like, well, damn. This other guy, he probably had pocket queens. He played it bad. So very next hand, as I'm stacking the chips that I got with this ace king, this guy that hasn't seemed like he got a pot in a long time, I guess wakes up on a hand. He raises on the button for $20 in this tight 1-2 game. I call with ace jack off. Another guy calls. Flop comes jack jack 9. I lead for 20 after he made it 20, so I'm betting like 1/3 pot. He ships it for 160. I snap call, show the ace. He said if you have a jack, you're good. I'm like, okay. So I'm waiting for the board to run out. He doesn't show me his hand. So I flip over the jack. I'm good. Okay, yeah, cool. I cash out 1,224 after being in for 600. My friend comes, looks at my stack. I just wanted to wait for him to come back so he could see my stack. We're sitting at the same table, so I wanted to like rub it in his face. Like, see, I got all these chips. Now I'm going to cash out. I take a break, then head to the 2-5 table a little later, buying for 300. I get aces my second hand. Limp raise a $25 open to 75. Get called by one person. Flop is queen 10-9 with 2 diamonds. After it got checked to me, I'm like, damn, I don't got a diamond in my hand, and that's a horrible board. Well, fuck it. If he got it, he got it. All in for the rest of my 225. He folded. I win. I lose some money in blinds until I pick up king 10 on the button with a cutoff straddle of $10. So when I call, I got 5 other people to call. Straddler checks. Flop comes 10-6-3 rainbow. I get top pair with a king kicker. Checks to me. I bet $50. A loose big blind player calls. So I put him on like a draw, maybe a pair and a backdoor draw. Turn is a 4. He checks. I'm like, yeah, 4 is in his range. He has a pair and a straight draw here, 100% of the time. I bet 125 to keep his pair/straight draw combos in there. He calls. River comes a queen. I shove the queen. He folds. I announce I'm leaving soon. Then I pick up pocket queens under the gun +1. I limp because the guy on my left put chips on top of his cards, which means he's going to raise. He's trying to protect his hand. He raises the 30. A loose guy after him calls. The one that had like the pair and a straight draw earlier. And then behind him, this other guy that I didn't see in, it just skips over him, I guess. I make it 225. But the small blind, I guess, didn't have a chance to act. And I'm like, you realize I'm going to make it 225. And if you call, I'm still making it 225. He's like, yeah, I realize that. I told him, okay, you don't have to call, but okay. He calls the 30. And I continue to bet $225. Both the guy on my left, who know I've been playing tight, fold. This new guy calls, and the flop comes queen 9 deuce. I flop top set. I instantly show the run-up came an ace and a 10 of spades, completing some gut shots and a flush draw. He mucks. I cashed out of that game for $778 after being in for $300. So I came to that trip with $900 and ended up with $2,239 for a profit of $1,339. And now I'm here today, negative $2,000, because I just went on a $11,400 downswing, and but I'm not doing anything today, so I decided to make a vlog. You probably won't see me for another few weeks, maybe a couple weeks. I can get my money back up. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, that's it, folks.